TN family, I'm Steph with Creation, and welcome to our virtual experiences featuring the cast of Supernatural. Just a reminder that the top tipper wins a 5-minute one-on-one video meet and greet with Tim and Brianna right after this panel. So make sure that your top supporter information is updated with your current email address. To do that, just look underneath the stage at window and you'll see where it says Top Supporter Rewards. Scroll to the bottom of that section and click the green Top Supporter Information button. If you'd like to tip, click the green tip button on the bottom left-hand corner of your staged screen. All right, first up today is a powerhouse duo. They are not only incredibly talented actresses, but they are also an inspiration to people all over the world. Let's welcome Brianna Buckmaster and Kim Rhodes.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
It took me so far. There she is right now. Hi, Kimberly! Hi, my favorite thing about this medium is that I actually look like the puppet I feel like.
The puppet?
I feel like a puppet when I do this. Oh, puppet dance. Hi!
I miss you. Kind of slow-mo because probably 7,000 people are on the Wi-Fi. Let me adjust that now for Warner so he doesn't yell at me later.
Oh, okay. Hi, Mom! Hi, I love you, I miss you. You're very far away.
What's so funny is that Kim has been working, which we can dig into later, and my last little while in my life has been insanity. So she and I actually haven't spoken in a couple weeks, which is strange for us. And so we all have lots of catching up to do. So we're going to get to some of these questions.
I know. I'm like, you might have questions. You won't get them answered. Yeah. No, children. We've been dealing with children. I've been dealing with a lot of children, not mine. You've been dealing with your child, all yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she's easy. Honestly, I feel like once I got used to being at home with Valentina, which was the first time in years being at home with her full time by myself, it was kind of great. And she's easy. It was kind of like, it's the thing that the universe does is you go, oh, ow, okay, let me figure out how to heal that and fix that and whatever. And you're like, okay, I'm good. Ow, ow. So it's been like that. It's been like I'm getting things hurled at me. So I've done things which is like I spend less time on social media. I connect with people here at home, who are in, very present parts of my life. And it's been, I think it's been good. Lots of shit is hitting the fan, but I find I've developed new ways to deal with it, which is good.
Yeah. All the crap that I got stuck inside my own head with when COVID hit,
yeah,
has really, it needed it's like that closet really seriously needed to be cleaned out, and things needed to be organized. There's stuff that doesn't fit anymore. There's stuff I haven't worn for a long time. There's space for new exciting things. Some things I discovered I was trying to wear. Wait, what?
The shoe you're trying to cram your foot into, and you're like, girl, don't fit anymore.
Yeah, or like the shirt I was trying to wear as a pair of pants because it was just all wrong. I'm like, oh, that's completely wrong. So yeah.
For some reason, that doesn't shock me. I'm actually like, I'm pretty sure I've seen that shirt and therefore pair of pants.
Their pants. Yeah. So it's uncomfortable, but it's necessary and helpful ultimately.
I intensely think it's necessary. I mean, it's necessary for the world. We're watching the world change daily, weekly, monthly, and I'm not talking like a leaf is falling off a tree. I'm talking like these are massive, important, overdue changes that are happening, which is very uncomfortable and painful to many people, but needs
change
to
is uncomfortable. And I like it.
What have you been doing to keep yourself busy?
I'm teaching
or not. You're teaching horse camp. I love that. So how did you, I mean, that seems like a natural thing. For me, I'm like, well, of course you are. Like, of course you are.
I would not have said I was a good enough rider to teach it. I'm finding out, actually, I know a lot more than I thought I knew. But it's more like that $600 was how we were paying our rent. Like, I'm not a wealthy person. and horses are expensive, and so I was riding out my lease that I had paid up, and then I injured myself, so I was just gonna fill it out, and then they put me on this horse that I love. Like, I love her so much. Said, I'm gonna genuinely have to start selling my mother's jewelry to afford to stay on this horse. And they said, well, you could, we could give you a job. We need somebody to do camp. I went, I'm in. So I took my first day job since 1996. Oh, hello. Somebody, there we go, making appearances already. I heard the people are here. I need to be here to show that, yes, he's going to go right on back there. Now, Jack knew I was talking about myself. So apparently he's telling me the short story is, yes, I'm teaching children. I really like it, and we're all masked up. I have sanitizer everywhere. There's nothing that gets touched, including the reins, that we don't sanitize afterwards. It is a lesson in an abundance of terrors and how to address them all. What are you doing with your time?
I'm just getting emails right now because I've decided to coach Valentina's T-ball team, and I'm not doing it today, which I was supposed to. I was like, I'm unavailable today. I can start next week, but all the teams start today, so I'm literally right now getting all these emails going, were we supposed to have practice today? So I'm like, just like, no, this is a volunteer job.
Yeah.
I know. It's all good. It's all good. It's like the old stuff of me going, what can I decide to be panicky about? And I'm like, no, it's raining. Nobody wants to practice today anyway. Yeah, it's kind of like this new game of getting really involved in Valentina's stuff. So Vancouver, the cases of coronavirus are quite low. We've kept kind of a close cap on things, and they rise and fall and rise and fall. And when they rise, they don't rise very high. And people are like, oh, okay, everybody back inside. And so we're pretty well behaved, but we do, like, everything's open, and we have measures. Everybody wears masks, and nobody cares. They just wear them. It's not a huge political thing. We're just like, whatever, sure. I don't know. Put a fucking mask on. I don't care. And then, everybody keeps a distance and sanitize before you go in everywhere. And with the baseball or the T-ball, we have to sanitize. Everybody has to sign things. So everything is a little bit more involved, but it just makes you kind of slow down a little bit. I've been working on my Netflix cartoon, which is in season 2. I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but it's out there now. Yes, that's what I've been doing once a week. Very fun, very, very, very fun. So grateful to have, like, a tiny little job to pay rent. And
I just recently got a voiceover. I did a book on tape that my friend actually tomorrow on Instagram is going to give a giveaway too. So if you didn't do Celia at 39 when it was released, my Instagram's going to have there. That's the plug. But I did a book on tape, and it was that was a lot of work. But I have a new voiceover agent, and I've been amusing myself. I did one project I'm not supposed to talk about yet. But the auditions are so much more fun, and they're so much more up my alley than, put yourself on tape for angry person with short hair number 2. But the voiceover things are like, you are a strawberry seed who turns into fighting strawberry when it's go time. So let's hear your best enraged, rampaging strawberry seed voice. Yeah, you will. Yes, you will hear my rampaging. As a matter of fact, I have 3 rampaging strawberry seed voices. Which one do you want?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot more fun.
You're an animated person, and you put on a bunch of different voices. I'm actually surprisingly not that good at, because when you're doing animation, you can do random characters as well. So I work on 2 cartoons, and I play a mom in both of them, which is basically a version of this voice you're hearing right now. Either depending on my audience being like preteens or kids or whatever. And they're like, okay, so we have a shopper that comes in the store. Can you just do a shopper? And they're so bad, Kim. I'm usually like, hey, hello, I need some new shoes. And they're just like, can you pick a new choice? And I'm like, no, I really can't, because everything just sounds like
What's wrong with my Australian dialect? It's not even, we're not.
So every day I'm like, I'm going to get fired because I can't do anything other than what I do. But this is such a great lesson to go, sometimes all the people need is for you to give exactly what you do. So instead of trying to be, the person who does a million voices, I'm like, I can't do any voices, but I can do this really well. And they're like, great, do that for 17 different cartoons. I'm like, you got it.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, so I've had that, and also like shooting is starting to pick up here in Vancouver, so there's been a few more auditions here and there. So life is so bananas. I think for so many people, for me, it feels okay. It feels manageable, and part of that is because I've developed the ability to live day to day. Anytime somebody asks me about, like, what are you going to do here? What are you going to do here? About major things. You're going to move? Are you going to buy? Are you going to do what? I'm like, oh no, I don't know.
I don't know what I'm having for dinner tonight.
Being told, I really do trust that what I am supposed to do will become clear,
Yeah.
and I don't need to like make these decisions. I don't need to chase the right decisions. So, yeah. So for me, in a nutshell,
I think we should answer some questions. Oh wait,
this is what I've started doing, Kim.
Good. Is it water?
A gallon of water. When I got this in the mail, I laughed at it, but now I make sweet, sweet love to it in my bed.
So much hydration. So much hydration. There's a screenshot we're going to see for the rest of our life.
Okay, let's take a question. This is fun.
Let's do it. Go.
Moose Swoop Art. This question is for Kim and Brianna. If time stopped for 1 hour, how would you spend it? Sleep.
For context, everything but you would be frozen.
And I would take the opportunity to then, therefore, not move.
Yeah, I'm like, right, again, this is so much fun. I've been learning so much about how my brain works. So now when it starts doing the thing that it does, and I know why it's doing the thing it does, I'm like, oh, there's my brain being my brain. I'm like, well, but if time stopped, I'd probably panic for an hour, is really what I'd probably do. I'd be like, is this going to be forever? I can't exist like this. Honestly, if you're asking me seriously, I'd probably, and if time is stopped, then how would I move anything? Because do the laws of physics still work? Are things left in the air? I'd probably try to fly, and then I'd realize...
Way to go, Luthar. Now you've done it. You've broken Kim.
I'd panic, because my husband and daughter would be frozen.
My therapist teaches me to do is she goes, when she asks me a question, I do the same thing. I go, okay, let me think about that. She's like, no, don't think. What was the very first thing that came to your brain before your brain started doing its thing?
Nap.
See? That's what I'm saying. You know why? An hour is not that long.
It's not.
So, also, I have time on my hands right now. I don't have the capacity. Let's make that clear, everyone. Okay,
you know what else I would do is I would go outside and listen to the silence.
Oh, that's a good one.
We went away to a cabin in the woods. A cabin in the woods. Bad idea. But I went outside and it wasn't silent, but at least it wasn't traffic. And thinking, I would just listen to silence.
See, I live in Vancouver. I live in the mountains and the ocean, so we have that kind of at our fingertips. It's not silent, but it is nature, So, but because I just feel like an hour is not enough time. Also, I don't feel the need to get things done right now. I don't feel like that's what this time is for. This time is for going inward and going, what work needs to be done inside. So, but I've also not been sleeping that well. So I would nap. I would nap, sit and read or something. Yeah. Okay.
Boy, it would be startling when it came back up again. All right.
Oh, it's real loud, real loud. This is from Culk. Or
wanted us to almost say cock.
We could say cock. We could say it all day long.
Woo!
Say it.
I first saw you on Sweet Life. Did you enjoy the change in genre? It is startling to move from multi-camera into single camera. The first time I went from multi-cam to my first single camera was actually Star Trek, and that was a lesson in, like, it's weird with multi-camera. You're all on film at the same time, so it's all the same thing. With single camera, you're only, like, when you're looking at the person talking and then the camera flips around and shows the other person talking, those are actually two different takes. And that was weird for me, the idea of, oh, I'm not on camera right now, but you're on, I messed up some takes because, like, I would make a mistake when it wasn't my coverage, and then I would want to go back, and they're like, it doesn't matter, you're not on camera, stop fucking with our take. And then they realized I didn't know what I was doing.
When I just started working in television, I was like, how do I, and then knowing when, and then being like, when a camera is on you and you fuck up, but you just stop and start over, and they're like, no, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. And I was like, oh, fuck. It's very confusing, where I guess multicam is a bit more like theater.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's a lot more like theater. Like, you just go until they call cut, and they can go back and get pieces, but it's also, you need to find your camera. It's a little more improv in the shooting style, but it's a lot more flexible in terms of hitting your mark. It's like, as long as you're not blocking another actor from their camera or standing in their light. Although it was funny because I used to try to get out of Dylan's light because I was taller than they were, and Dylan is an imp, or was at that time. I'm pretty sure they both still are. And he would then move himself into the shadow, and so then I would have to move a little bit further, and then he would deliberately move himself into the shadow, and then I'd get in trouble for getting out. They're like, Kim, you're off camera. I'm like, and he'd just be like, he would totally know what he was doing.
Like growing up in, like, the television industry, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Question for Brianna and Kim from SMA789. What's a fun project you've been working on with your daughters in quarantine? Well, I feel like we already kind of talked about that. I took mine to
Hawaii. Is that not enough? Let's be clear, everyone. Our children are young. Well, I'll speak for myself. My child is young. At the beginning of quarantine, I worked really hard to, like, have a schedule and to make sure she's learning math. And then a couple months in, no, I'm just kidding. A couple weeks in, I was like, she's fine.
Yeah. No.
Like, I can sit and read for 2 hours. I'm like, yes, you can. So I can do the same. It's just like survival right now, you know. But now we're learning, like, you know, if we're in this for kind of a longer term than I think we all had anticipated, and so I'm trying to give her any semblance of routine. That's kind of it.
Yeah, I am doing the fun project of recognizing where I am still trying to control my daughter's experience, and I have a kid that it's really generally easy to find where I'm trying to control my assumptions and I'm attaching to something because she doesn't comply with it, and she is not wired to conform to something just because I need her to. So I'm looking at all the places where we still have some really strong conflicts and how I can let go further and trust her to show me what she needs, as opposed to me coming in with my preconceived notions that have to do with how I was raised and societal standards that have nothing to fucking do with my kid. I know your question wanted to know if we're learning how to do needlepoint, but no, that's what you get from me.
So the things early on I started baking, and I was like, this is a slippery slope for me. So I started learning how to cook. I started getting these, like, meal delivery things where they give you instructions and stuff, because I've never really cooked as an adult. Because all my girlfriends used to cook when I was a teenager, and then Jose's a chef, so he does pretty much all the cooking. But now I do half the cooking, which is great because he's working. And I started reading. God, like, not that I didn't know how to read, but I just never took the time. I didn't prioritize it. And now it's like a beautiful kind of escape. Most of the stuff I read is nonfiction, but I started reading fiction to like have like a fun thing to look forward to. And that's been kind of delightful. I'm going backwards. I'm regressing, really.
We're revisiting. I'm doing a lot of, yeah.
I can own that. I'll also be like, I'm reprioritizing. And I think that is what feels really good. And that is what is kind of my new skill right now, is to going, I used to think that was really important. Or those opinions of those people used to be really important to me. And now I'm like, weird. That's weird.
So funny. I'm like
what was that about? Why did you do that? And then I start to I just start to slowly, it's like an onion, you unpack things, right? And that's kind of my project. Unpacking my former behaviors. Okay. Yeah, let's see what else we got here. Van Lima, how do you prepare yourself for work in voice acting? We went over this a tiny bit, but oh no.
Well, I mean, the Travis, my husband,
yeah,
Travis did workshops. Travis did some workshops and there was scrolling at the bottom of the screen and
no, I was like, not already.
What is it? Is it a SIG alert? What's happening? We're being bombed. What's going on? Oh no, it's just the first supporter prize is a 5-minute one-on-one video with meeting us. So there are workshops you can take. You do need, if you don't have an agent down here, it's a good thing to get a demo. So finding someone who can help you do a voiceover demo is important. Finding someone who is willing to work with you to literally find your voice. It's not just like, oh, here's a McDonald's copy. Here's it. Like, I really apparently have a very specific sound, and there are things that I would not do well, and there's other things that I do very well that nobody would ever, like, you would not look at Kim Rhodes and think, sure, put her in for the role of a 6-year-old boy, but actually I am very good for the role of a 6-year-old boy, because I have a lot of funny voices that are going on, because because I spend a lot of time at the dog park. That's how I found my, that's actually how I got my current voiceover agents. I'm with Fox. And it's because I used to go to the dog park, and I was not, like, consciously auditioning for her. She's just a friend. But, you know, like, all the dogs, because they all have very different voices. And I'm just a guy, and I have to narrate their experience in the dog park, because your experience in the dog park. And she finally was like, who are you with voiceover? And I told her who I was with. She's like, do you like him? I said, well, I've never actually booked anything, and I've been with him for 5 years. But, you know, I'm not really good at it. She went, we need to fix that.
Or you've been told that. Or you've been told.
Yeah. So I think just having fun, that's a good prep for voiceover. And now, what was your experience going into it, B?
Well, when I started doing voiceover, like 10, 15 years ago. But it was like radio and TV commercials, mostly. It was like, marketing voiceover. And so I just auditioned, I think, for my this Netflix show I'm on is my first cartoon. And they knew it was my first cartoon, and the producers, the show originated in the UK, with Netflix in the UK, and they came over and they like had to have a sit down with me because they had, I think, another actress on before me. I don't know. And they were like, this is how it works. And they were like, I play a pug, a mama pug. And so they were like, look at dog videos, like watch. I had to like research pugs. And so that was kind of funny. But also I sat in on another cartoon, a very popular cartoon that records here in Vancouver. And these are usually animation actors, are kind of famous and do a bunch of cartoons at the same time, and they're unbelievable. When the director goes, new choice, they can come up with like a new character in seconds, and it was, for me, it was mind-blowing, especially because some of these actors I know, and I was like, I had no idea you could do that. It's a skill on its own. And so I sat in on some recordings, which are recorded in like a radio show would be recorded. Everybody's in the room at the same time, which is really very, very, very fun. It's hysterical. It's kind of like being in a theater rehearsal is what it reminds me of. We're all cracking each other up. Yeah, I don't know. That was kind of new and very nerve-wracking. When I do something new and I'm not immediately good at it, I convince myself that I don't like it. So that was what I thought about animation at first. Is I was like, I don't like this. I don't like it. It's fine. And that's really my ego going, you get fired, you'll be okay because you don't like it anyway, which is not true. But I fucking love it. I love it so much, and I'm so grateful for it. But yeah, I started in voiceover for commercials and was doing that for years, which is so different than doing animation. I'm grateful for both.
Yay! Krista's calling us out. Krista Martin.
Yesterday.
Many of us are listening today, and Team Wayward misses you. Did you enjoy any part of Gishing? I enjoyed Krista. I enjoyed you very much. I enjoyed my teammates a lot. I enjoyed expressing an irreverent sense of humor. I enjoyed the camaraderie.
It was so funny. I was just literally talking about this yesterday. Maybe at my meet and greet, or maybe with somebody in a one-on-one. I can't remember, but I was specifically talking about Krista, about how the only time, how I just don't understand, like my brain cannot wrap itself around what Gish is and how it works. And everybody's like, that's the point. And I was like, I don't know where to begin with that. But I love what it's become. And it's kind of just unbelievable. Whatever it is, it's an enigma wrapped in enigma, wrapped around Misha Collins, which is an enigma, wrapped around enigma. And when we did Gish, I remember not understanding, and Krista being our leader, and Kim and I every day go, I'm so sorry, like, we didn't do what we were supposed to do, or the worst, I'm so sorry. And Kim and Krista was always like, calm down, ladies, this is supposed to be for fun. Like, she was a true leader in the sense of, like, I was such a fuck up during Gish. I was like, I think I did one thing, maybe, and she was like, great job, and I was like, fuck. So thank God for Krista. So what I loved about it was I loved being a part of it, because it did make me go, I'm doing this thing that everybody talks about, so I can understand why all of you like to do it so much. But for me, because I didn't know what I was doing, and then inevitably, and so I will own that this was totally my fault, I didn't know what I was doing, and so I did the least amount I can. Don't do what I do. Don't do what Brianna did. Dig in. I pulled back instead, which I should have. I now see I should have dug in further to go, well, I don't understand this. Let me just fucking figure it out. So do that instead.
Yeah, dive in. I just don't have, and I know everybody does. A lot of people enjoy putting life on hold. I do not have a life that easily gets put on hold. That was the difficulty for me, is the you need to be kind of all in. And even though everybody kept going, do as much or as little as you can, I was like, that's not how my brain works. If something is there, then it's just going to keep boom, 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 and I will feel like a failure if I'm not doing as much as I possibly can. But I did enjoy climbing in the dumpster and having someone take a picture of me that said cardboard only. That made me laugh.
And didn't you do something pervy with stuffies or something?
Oh, I did a whole bunch of pervy things, and then they were like, you can't submit 5 pictures. So my husband made a collage of it, and nobody could really see. But yeah, what are the toys doing at night? I had a bunch of I managed to rig up some very impressive BDSM scenarios with some duct tape and stuffies and the Ken doll.
Yeah. I support that. It should be like Gish after hours. I guess Gish is after hours, right?
Yeah.
Okay. let's see here. Nathalis Swallow.
Natalie Swallow. What is your favorite thing? Yeah. Natalie Swallow, what is your favorite thing about Donna and Jody?
Well, okay.
My favorite thing about Jody is how she knows how much love hurts, and she still is all in. Like, she has every reason in the world. Oh, fuck. Oh, yay, it's my first one. I had one it's my first tear up. I have to start referring to her in the past tense. She had every reason in the world to know, to quit, to not love anymore. To just be like, I'm out. I've paid my dues, I'm done. And she still just kept going, yes, 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 come home, yes, come into my heart, yes, I will give you this piece of me that I might never see again, and I kind of needed, and it will hurt. But she kept doing it. All right, so I'm going to cough.
Just checking the chat to see if people thought that they think that Jody's dead. Because we said you have to refer in past tense, which I don't actually know, but I was just checking to see.
Well, I mean, I'm not being quarantined right now in Canada, and they're going to start shooting the last 2 episodes, so I'm fairly certain that if I were coming back in the last 2, I would be doing this from a hotel room in Canada right now.
That's the answers.
That's the answer, and I'm sticking to it. What's your favorite thing about Donna?
Well, what I love about Donna is I loved playing her was such an easy part, a part of me that was so present in Brianna and yet so different from Brianna. But like when I went into the audition, what happens to me when I'm nervous, and you guys see this, I'm sure, on panels at the conventions all the time, is I get like, hi guys, what's up, what's happening? Now, me at my core, when I'm relaxed and calm, I'm not as like uppity, but that is very Donna. And so I loved playing to that. I loved playing the sunny parts. I love that Donna was not written, and this is a testament to Eric Carmelo, who he and the other brilliant writer on that episode wrote Donna. Somebody must know in the chat. They wrote Donna as this brilliant character who was not a romantic character. She was feminine without being overly feminine, without being overly masculine, even though she was not a romantic character. She, was insecure, but also didn't take her insecurities into her job. Like, she was a very relatable woman in television for a character who was only in 3 scenes. And it was kind of a great opportunity to play a character like that for me, especially in television, because there aren't a lot of characters like that. I think now the landscape is very different than it was 6-7 years ago, but I just kind of love that she has a positive outlook on things that are not that positive. She can just see past the hardships without having to push the hardships away, kind of recognizing that there is something to be gained from them. I don't know. It's so strange. Like, Donna's been, as same with Jody, it's been such a big part of my life for so long. But also, she just kind of is part of me. Like, Donna is a facet of me, and that comes from how that's my acting process, is I choose to use parts of me and throw them into characters. So she'll always be there, And I'm Canadian, so if I really throw in a thick Canadian accent, then it's not that different from Donna's accent, right? She's always around. I just gotta check the chat really quick and see if anybody found that answer for me. Guys, I give you one job. Come on now. Come on. Eric, and who wrote that fish taco episode? Oh, fuck me. Anyway, okay. We'll move on. If I find it, I find it. Brittany, if you see it, throw it up there for me. Okay. Camille Oliveira. Kim, can you read these names? I'm terrible at it. Nicole Snyder. Thank you. Nicole Snyder. I knew it was Nicole. Okay. Nicole Snyder, Eric Mello. There's that. Thank you. Okay.
Hey girls, how do you feel about representing many girls in Supernatural playing strong women with wonderful stories among various male characters? Great! No.
Listen, this is, for me, for some reason, this is a loaded question, and I'm probably just going to project shit onto it that Camille did not want to hear. So, here you go. I'm sorry, and you're welcome. I do not believe in the trope strong female character, because I feel like what happens is it is a way to pigeonhole or overly characterize and complicate women, which I feel like is something that the Hollywood patriarchy wants to do because it's fucking easy. But what I love, and I'll speak for myself and for Donna, what I love is all these things I was telling you about in the last question, is that I do feel like Donna is complex. And that might be just because I play her and I therefore have her brain, and I can think of her as a complex character, even though she might not be directed or acted or written that way. But I think that women are strong and also weak. And I think that weak women are also allowed to be strong in their own ways that we as society or in television might not see. I think that the strong female character is something that has become trendy in the last 10 years, and I also think it's become lazy. Just so strange to say, and I get it, and you guys can debate me on this, but I think that there is strength in weakness, and I think that needs to be written about more. And I do think that's maybe, I'm going to assume that's maybe what Camille was kind of understanding about our characters, or at least Donna, is that she is strong, even though in her first episode she was trying to get liposuction from a monster. You know what I mean? And I think that is the truth of women, is that strength looks different to everybody, and it doesn't always look like Wonder Woman,
I love that response. So then I want to address the first part of it, of like, how do you feel about representing many girls? And when I first found out that people felt I was representing them, it was terrifying, because all I know how to do well is be me. And I can't bring things to it that will represent girls or women. All I can do is just be me. And then I put it together that's what representing women really is for me, is that when I see someone who is present and specific and authentic, it gives me permission to be present and specific and authentic. And so that has happened with me in my real life. On the show, I'm not in charge of what I do. They tell me what words to say. I don't get to pick them. They tell me who I work with. I don't get to pick it. But in the real world, you have all asked me to raise my own bar because you want to meet your own bar. And,
right.
And so what it has done for me, instead of making me responsible for everybody, it has taught me to be responsible for my own authenticity. And that has been a huge blessing that I've actually received from the supernatural family, is we see you, we hear you, be more you, that I wouldn't necessarily have been willing to do otherwise.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you? Brianna's here. I know. There's also a bunch of fans here. So we are public, so that means that people can see you, okay? Do you understand that?
Yeah. Hi, Brianna.
Hey, baby, I miss you.
She can't hear you. I've got the AirPods in. Here, this is one, so you can hear Brianna now.
Hi, Brianna.
Hey, baby, I miss you.
Miss you too.
Oh, Tilly, are you going to come up too? Are you going to help? Come on up. She said, my person. Tilly knew it was her job to keep Tabby controlled and contained. It's okay. We're fine. We're good. All right, Tabby, we're going to keep taking questions.
Okay.
So this is from Jubble Keep. Jabil Keep. At what point did you realize that your characters would be recurring? You know what? I didn't. So for me, I'd been working in TV for approximately 5 seconds. And the dream, because I was in my 30s, that's your senior citizen as a woman in television, I was like, wouldn't it be amazing if, like, I got a job? And they're like, because at that point I was working as, like, EMT #1, whatever. Now, I'd been working in theater and comedy for decades, but I hadn't worked I was working in TV because I needed a job and needed money, and I was pregnant and lots of reasons. But I was like, wouldn't it be great if they were like, you know what, just come back. That was me going, I don't want to keep auditioning for things because auditioning is so awful and painful. They're like, what if you just came back? And then, this is why I'm a magic manifester, I tell Kim this story all the time. Is my very first episode, I'll never forget, when I was like on the massage table and they were the crew was adjusting the VFX things around my back, and I had like my head in a little thing. Phil Segretia stuck his head underneath, and he was like, you know what, there's another character on the show named Sheriff Jody, played by an actress named Kim Rhodes. It would be so funny if you two met at like a sheriff's convention or something. And then Brad Creaser, who's the camera off, he's like, that sounds like a spin-off. And then it was like, my brain was just like, and it's done. That's it. And it's done. And I'll never forget, I think because I was like 5-6 months pregnant when I shot that. And then I had my baby and was in the thick of postpartum depression. And then I got a phone call and they were like, Supernatural wants you back. And I was like, I knew it. So I didn't actually think about the characters or the show. I didn't know much about the fandom or anything like that. I knew that I got along really well with Jared Jensen, which I think Phil like clocked early on. He was like, why are the boys laughing so hard at this lady? Like, all I thought about was like my personal experience in the world with people. I didn't think about the show or my career, or I was just like, what is going to be comfortable to me? And everything about being on that show felt, you know, Kim and I talk a lot about the warmer, colder method. It felt warm and fuzzy and right. And so to me, energetically, I was like, something is happening here. Something else is happening here. So that's kind of when I knew. And I knew that kind of from the get-go. Kim?
I was startled every single time they called me, and every single time I wanted to know if I was dying. There was a time when it looked like they were teaming up Jody and Bobby, and yes. I remember when Jim and I both talked about that, and we were like, that sounds great. And he said that he'd talked to the writers about that matchup, and we were like, that's great for Bobby. Like, I felt very, I wanted to see that happen for Bobby. And then I remember I was up there, and he said, I need to talk to you. And he brought me in, and he said, I just want to give you a heads up that they are killing my character. And I just started to cry. And he was like, it's okay, honey. I was like, I don't want your character to die. And then I put together, oh, and then they aren't going to need me. I mean, like, they're going to, oh, I'm not going to come back. Like, if you're dead, and that was the secondary response was like, oh, and I'm going to be out of a job. But really, I don't want Bobby to die. Like, I just was like, no, Bobby can't die. He can't die. But that was when I started, when they brought me back again, I was like, but why would you need me? And they were like, no, you're still a character on the show. And so it wasn't until Robert Barron's episode, Alice, Annie, Alexis, Anne. Annie, Alex, Alexis, Anne. You know the one I'm talking about. Where I went, oh, I actually get to show up. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that was my. Wait. So what time do we have to stop? We have to stop at 12:01.
Yeah. Just text Brittany.
It says.
I want to show you something. Have you tried these?
Oh, Tabby is really into having people try the harvest snacks.
Tabby, those are literally my favorite snacks. We have 17 different flavors. I'm just kidding. We have probably 2, but that's enough.
Snacks.
I love
Snacks in our house.
Do you like the
She knows
One
that
last
when Brianna's ever. Hold on, Tabs. We got to take one more question. I do like the question. What kind of breed? Wait, things are moving. Wait, stop. What breed of dog would you be if you could?
Kim, you have to pick one.
I think. Well, let's see here. I think. I would say you would be like a French bulldog. I have to. You read go look at the chat for me, because you're cuter than a pug, and French bulldogs have this thing that you can. French bulldogs is what Emily Swallow has. Norma Jean's a French bulldog. Oh, they're beautiful, but so funny, and you cannot have them come into a room without the room being better for you being in it. I feel like I'm too lazy to be a border collie or a Jack Russell or I would be a German Shepherd cattle dog. I don't know. That's what we have. I would be. You know what?
I could do that.
I would be a mix. I honestly would be a pit bull mix. I would probably be, because they are goofy and great with children and like to sleep and generally get on the wrong side of societal expectations.
Yeah. Okay.
That's right.
Brilliant. I love that.
Yeah. Tabby's giving you heart. When you're both done, just say your goodbyes. Okay, so Tabby, you're gonna say goodbye to Brianna.
She's leaving.
Well, we're both leaving because we're gonna stop the thing.
Hey, Brianna?
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe sometime you can come and visit.
I would love that. Love that.
We miss her, huh? But she's up in Canada.
Yeah, oh, and maybe we could go
Really
to
just
there.
Oh, I've heard it's so fun, right? I've just finally shipped it. No.
Oh, did you get your stuff back?
No, I've just shipped it. I've just, I've just hired U-Haul. They get there on Monday. I'll get it in August or
We
something.
should try these.
And we should, okay, and veggie puffs. There you go.
Hey,
Thank you.
Supernatural fandom family. We're so grateful for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for holding space for Kim and I to have this friendship in front of you. We do have it behind the scenes as well. This is not pretend, but we love an audience. Okay, we love you guys so much.
We love you.
Kissing.
Kim, Brianna, on behalf of the SPN family, we thank you so much for your positivity, your humor, your inspiration, and being role models to us all. And especially thank you for being with us today and spending time with us. Okay, guys, tipping is now done, and we'll bring you the results in just a few moments. But make sure you're signed up for our email list through our website, creationent.com, and follow us at creationent on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for announcements on more virtual content to come. We'll be back soon with the one and only Nisha Collins, so don't miss it. Okay, our winner of the 5-minute one-on-one meet and greet with Kim and Brianna is Abby Road. Abby Road, you are our winner. So make sure that your top supporter information is updated with your email address so we can contact you. But also hang out here in the chat, in a stage of chat, just in case we have an issue getting you your link. Okay, you guys, like I said, we're going to be back soon with the one and only Misha Collins.